Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the feed. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, Bellows Falls, and welcome to the feed. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Beautiful day.
Oh, yeah, June 23rd, 2021. It's our first full feed of summer.
It is.
Yes, summer started a couple days ago. We're ready to go, and it's been beautiful.
We have had, we've had a little bit of heat, but we've had a beautiful spring, I think.
Oh.
Some beautiful, gorgeous sunny days, nice little breeze, clean, dry air.
Yes, and the garden and the food and everything is just popping.
Yeah, I think we've had a good amount of rain to keep everything really lush and green.
We did strawberries this last weekend, and they were amazing. Been having strawberry shortcake, strawberry jam, strawberry everything, and then we actually went to the farmer's market last weekend, and just the food. The amount of stuff that's out right now is just amazing. Anyway, local events.
Well, the farmers market. The farmers market is back up in operating at the Waypoint Center. It's every Friday from 4 to 7. And I have a quick little list of the vendors for you. So there's Northwind Farms, there's Mighty Mighty Microgreens, BBC Whole Made Goods, Highland View Farm, Bascom Farm, Eventide View Farm, Grand View Gourmet, and Evans Eggs. So there's lots of greens and produce and lots of locally raised pastured meats. I believe BB Homemade Goods is like cookies and treats and things like that. And they're doing a thing that I think they've done in previous years, but I just wanted to point it out. They do take EBT cards, and they're doing what they call crop cash. So if you have an EBT card and you buy $10 worth, you actually get $30 in value.
Wow.
So you can definitely leverage your EBT and leverage that crop cash and get some good locally sourced meat, produce, eggs, all that type of stuff. So that's every Friday from 4 to 7. The Opera House is open, and they're happy to announce that the movie that is coming this weekend is F9, the continuation of the Fast and Furious saga, I should say. It's really more of a saga. I don't think I've ever seen any one of the Fast and Furiouses from start to finish. I've seen bits and pieces of many of them,
but
never of them from start to finish. So I don't know if I could tell you exactly the sequencing of them.
Guess you're going to have to watch this.
I'm going to have to go to F9.
I heard they're doing something with the triple ups too. If you're like the first person there, you get a free triple up or something like that.
They did do a contest online that if you could predict what the movie was coming next week, they put online if you can predict what movie we're getting, you get a free triple up.
Oh, that's cool too.
That's cool. So they're doing some cool online things. So make sure you're checking their Facebook page. So that runs this weekend, the 25th through the 29th, and the following weekend, the 2nd through the 6th. Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, the shows are at 7. Saturday and Sunday, the shows are at 3 p.m. and 7.
Great. One other item we have that came in today, on the first Friday of the month, which will be July 2nd, the First Baptist Church is doing a cookout, and they're going to it's a charity cookout, so the proceeds go to a charity that they change every month, but this month is going to be the library, the Rockingham Free Library. So I hope to get more information. We should have one more show before this, but we should get some more information in this. But on the first Friday, which is July 2nd, there's going to be a cookout at the First Baptist Church, and the proceeds will go to the library.
Yeah, they had one. I think we had information last for the one that they did in June, which benefited Greater Falls Connections.
Okay,
so
good.
I'm sure they'll get us the information because I'm sure they're watching.
I'm sure most people are watching.
Most people are watching now.
Right now. Okay. Anything else on the local events?
Nope, I'm good with local events.
Well, today's guest is Bronwyn Sims, who you may remember from just a few weeks ago, came on and talked to us about things that she's doing and things that Main Street Arts is doing. And Bronwyn, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you both?
We're doing good.
We're doing good.
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit, what's happening this summer with you?
Well, let's see. There's quite a bit going on, I suppose. I just finished performing in Vermont Dance Alliance's performance called Traces 2021. I performed in it last year, but it was a virtual performance where all these dancer choreographers put together virtual videotape performances, and then it was edited together. But this year it was in person, and Vermont Dance Alliance had 17 choreographers, if I'm correct on that number, across the state of Vermont, performing pieces that were about water and water conservation. Was the theme this year. So at each selected location, there was probably about 5 dancers, choreographers, approximately. So these happened on June 12th, which was, I guess, like a week ago now, or a little more than a week ago, but I thought I would just tell you about it. I performed in White River Junction with a couple other companies, Loom Ensemble, which is located in Springfield, Vermont, and Sobo Dance, which is in Brattleboro, Vermont, Sindel Ellis. And there was one other company there besides myself. And then there were performances in Burlington, Vermont, and in Waterbury, Montpelier, Waterbury and Montpelier, I believe. And it was really awesome because all these pieces were about water and water conservation. And I actually made a mask for it. I don't know if you can see it back there. Actually, I'll just get up and bring it to the screen, but I made it. It's a water goddess. So I handmade this. And she's my water goddess. Anyway, it's made in a traditional style of commedia mask making, so there's pretty intense to do it, but you first have like a clay mold of your face, like a plaster of Paris mold of your face, and then you take clay and you put it on top, and then that's how you form whatever shape you want. And then you have to paper mache it with heavy paper. I have this thing called red paper, or you can use paper bags. And then you have to take the clay out, which is the most arduous part. But I thought it would be exciting to kind of explore using an expressive mask as this water goddess. And the piece I created was called I Am Water, and how water relates to human beings and to the earth and to our environment, and how much water we waste. So it was pretty exciting performance, and all the performances were really lovely. But that's sort of in the past. But I thought I'd tell you about it.
That's really exciting, though. I don't mean to interrupt, but have you ever thought,
Sure.
Are there pictures of the performances, or were the performances captured on video? And then,
Yes.
I guess,
Yes.
so how would people see them?
Well, I believe the Vermont Dance Alliance, they actually asked for everybody's videos and photos. So I think they are compiling them, and maybe, I don't know if they're editing them all together, or if they're using them in a different way, but I think they might be making a compilation video of this. So you could check out Vermont Dance Alliance, their website. Don't know it off the top of my head, but if you Google Vermont Dance Alliance, or if you DuckDuckGo Vermont Dance Alliance, depending on what you use, it should pop up. I think it's a .org website, but I'm not positive. But there's probably information there. Also, if you're on social media, Facebook or Instagram, and you look up Vermont Dance Alliance, I'm sure there are photos on the Instagram page as well as their Facebook page. You could also probably type in Traces, TRACES 2021, and it'll pop up.
Neat.
But they do it every year, and it's this kind of awesome festival of performances of dance and movement and expressive arts. But that, I wanted I wanted to tell you a little bit about that, mostly
that's-
because I was so proud of the mask I made.
Well, yeah, you should be. That's a fantastic
Very cool.
mask. I was wondering if you ever would consider doing another and doing like a time lapse of how the process works, because that would be fascinating.
I would love to do that,
We should get
actually. I
together
think
and
that
talk
would be
about
super
that.
fun. I mean, I thought about actually trying to teach a class of how to make these masks because
Yeah.
I find it very therapeutic, actually. The creation of it and putting your hands in the clay and the painting of it. And at school, we did full expressive masks like this one. I have another one in the other room. It's a different character. And then we also made half masks so that you can speak out of them. And the half mask is much more related to commedia dell'arte, which is a form of theater born in Italy. And there are stock characters in commedia. But when we made our masks, we could go with that idea or come up with something more creative. But yeah, that would be fun
be
to kind
fun.
of go
That
through the
would be great.
process. I never thought of that, Mike. As a way, as a sort of a tutorial. I have to get a little better at it though, because I think there's some other mask makers that are probably way better than me. So I'll have to sort of brush up my skills so it doesn't look like I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, seize the day. You just need to do it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to see if you would kind of bring us up to speed. We started to talk the last time you were here about kind of the work that you're doing with Main Street Arts.
Sure. Yeah. So at Main Street Arts, we've been meeting. There's about 5 artists that are right now. We're calling ourselves the Arts Committee, or I think we've come up with another name that isn't quite as elitist, I guess you could say. That sounds a little less like we're this committee, but it's called the Road Crew, and we're basically serving as the artistic director, but as a collaborative group. So the 5 of us who are these individuals are myself, Gabriella Zolak, if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, John Haddon, Charles Norris Brown, and Catherine Despont. And the 5 of us are sort of working together to come up with a new way to work with the community and the board of directors of Main Street Arts. The president of the board's name is Susan Still. And we've been meeting fairly regularly to come up with new programming for Main Street Arts. And it's still in the process stage at the moment. But some things that are being planned are ways that we can engage the community, coming from the community input, from the standpoint of the community, as opposed to the artists coming up with these grand ideas and then sort of putting them onto the community. This group, we are much more interested in what the community needs and hearing the voice from the community standpoint and different organizations in the community of Rockingham, Bellows Falls, and Saxton's River, of what they sort of need and how we can support that need. A couple ideas that are in the works are a wellness program through Main Street Arts that would offer a place for local people to come to engage in classes that are wellness related, like yoga, chair yoga, meditation, expressive arts therapy classes, but not just as a class, but that Main Street Arts could hold a place for people to come, even just to meet one another or to talk. So all of these programming ideas also have another element that allows people to show up to maybe, have coffee and and talk and chat and then take a class, or after the class there's opportunity to engage with one another and talk, whether we're hoping to offer things like coffee and snacks and things that will allow people to not just show up and take a class, but
Yeah, but to
but
break
engage
bread together,
with each
yeah.
other and have conversation. There's also consideration of doing things to improve the area around Main Street Arts. So there's a lovely little garden green area to the one side of Main Street Arts, and we were brainstorming about ways to improve that location, and make it more accessible and interesting. And a couple ideas we had were to start sort of a garden there, flower garden or an herb garden or food, and bring in local people around the area, the community, to come and have food and snacks and talk, collaborate, converse, but also improve the area by gardening. So making it like a group community effort to garden the space, improve Main Street Arts outside. There's also, we were sitting around a picnic table when we had our last meeting outside, and someone said, well, why don't something simple, besides a gardening activity, we could also build more picnic tables. So we're really trying to think a little bit outside the box in terms of how to draw people in, how to literally have people show up at the space, because
Right.
I was questioning, like, well, how can we really get people here? And I think you need to think of many ways to sort of engage people and attract different community members to an area. And I think if they just think of Main Street Arts as this artistic community, and if you don't consider yourself an artist, you might not ever want to go to Main Street Arts. So we're trying to look at really different ways to reach out, because we're really interested in trying to get people who maybe never would go to the theater or never take an art class. I really think everybody is an artist and does have some level of creativity within themselves, even if they don't think they do. And the group of artists that we're really interested in trying to reach out to those people, to the people who wouldn't think of themselves in that way, and how we can reach out to those individuals, those people in the community, and finding other ways to do that. So we thought, oh, well, what if we had a little outdoor party that they could come and garden, they could build picnic tables, and maybe there'd be a lead artist or a lead person in charge of each of those activities. Also, the side of Main Street Arts building needs repainted. And a couple of us were thinking, well, wouldn't it be lovely to have the community come and we all build and paint a mural on the side of the building. So there's lots of interesting devising ideas that we are sort of thinking about, and how to really reach out and not make it about the artist or the artist's ideas, but about what the community is interested in and what they need in this time, especially coming out of isolation and out of COVID. I think there's a lot of feelings and emotions and grief, and people need to sort of address those issues to move forward. And that's what we're working towards. The big unveiling probably might not happen till September, but we're hoping to have some events sooner than that in the summer. I do know there's a schedule of some performances that are happening. So some of these other more community inspired events may occur in and around those, but that's still to be determined. We're still brainstorming and collaborating on ideas.
So what I keep hearing, which is interesting, I kept hearing community. So it sounds to me like Main Street Arts is maybe morphing more into Main Street community with a focus on the arts, but not the whole focus on the arts. So I think that's really that's great. I think a whole center with wellness program, gardening, all of those things. I think it would be great. We have Susan coming on next week, so she can talk more about that. But I think it sounds like you have a really good direction that you're going, and I like the fact that the word community was used a lot.
Right.
And connections.
The idea of breaking that barrier between artist and a non-artist. I think you're right. I think it's intimidating when people think they're not an artist to show up at a place with artists. And it's difficult. And if you were to bridge that gap, that would be an amazing thing. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's our hope. Our sort of goal is that we can sort of bridge a gap of feeling intimidated by art or artists or theater or anything. I think I consider myself an artist, but even sometimes I go, am I an artist? I think that everybody has talents in different areas, and we're just very interested in trying to illuminate and bring out those skills in people, and that is the focus. I think that Main Street Arts had a different focus before, and that was lovely and served its purpose. But I think now in a new time, there's just a need for a different type of a focus. And I believe that all of the artists that are currently on this road crew group are very delighted to try to enhance the community aspect and really acknowledge that everybody has a skill, has a talent that can be creative. Even if you don't consider yourself that, you probably have some creative bone in there that you maybe didn't even know about.
I think that's true.
I think it's important, even though we are incredibly connected nowadays with mobile devices and emails and direct messaging and texting, we are unbelievably disconnected with one another. So to have some type of community, to have these organizations that pop up that have in-person connection, I think is so important, because it's too easy to get caught up in your own little bubble, your own little device, and to never be connected. And I think what we used to take for granted with community centers and community organizations is more important than ever now, I think.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, and it sort of, we've hit on this a lot today, is that people seem to be drawing more apart than they are together. That everything is black and white or wrong and right, and if you don't agree with me totally, you're wrong. And and speaking, we're disconnected here.
We're very disconnected right now. We've lost.
We
lost our screen.
And we're back.
And I think we're getting low on time.
Okay.
Colin can confer. Yeah, we
Colin
have 1 minute.
says, well, we're not only disconnected, but we're low on time.
We're low on time.
Bronwyn, please go ahead.
Well, a couple of things actually just segueing into what you just said, Mike. I'm hoping, there's a friend of mine I went to graduate school with. Her name is Larima Russell, and we've been talking, and we hope to start our own podcast. Probably not till September by the time we get everything together, but it's called Keeping It Real. So
all right.
you can stay tuned to it. I'll know more in the next couple months, but we just started brainstorming on starting our own podcast, and the content will be just basically like what it is. We'll probably have a topic each show, and it's about keeping it real. Rima and I are very different people, but very much the same. And I'm excited to be working with her and collaborating with her. She's currently lives in Philadelphia, PA, so I'll let you know more about that. And the other two things I just wanted to plug real quickly is I'm also working on a solo show that'll be a virtual performance for the Philly Fringe Festival, and currently the working title is called Eat E.A.T, and it'll cover it's a personal memoir, virtual interactive show that deals with my battle with bulimia for the last 20 some odd years since I was 14. I'm not bulimic now, but I was bulimic from the age 14 to 30, my early 30s. So I started a memoir class this past fall, and that sort of opened up all of this, all of these stories. So I was like, gee, maybe I should do something with that. And the reasoning is that I really feel like teenagers right now, despite everything else that's going on in the world, are struggling with many things. And part of that is to just let you know that you'll be okay. It's really to share my experience and to help others. And I'm hoping it'll be dark and funny piece, but I'm excited to be digging into it and working on it.
I think we lost.
I think we may have lost the feed, but I'm not.
Uh-oh. Did you lose me, or am I still here?
No, they could hear you, but they couldn't.
We can hear you, but we can't see you for some reason.
Yeah,
That's
But I
okay.
think that's all we have.
that's the
Sorry.
beauty of live TV.
We will invite
I
you
know.
back. Thank you again,
No
Bronwyn.
worries. I'm not looking so great right now anyway.
All right.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for the
thank
feed
you
this
both.
week. Yeah, and we're off.
Rough.
Okay, thanks so much, Mike. Thank you. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
Business, sports, arts, music.